you know, I wasn't gonna do anything. I wasn't even gonna say anything, I was just gonna let it slide. But the person I'm talking about did something really weird, I guess. Today we're talking about Fictional Darling, a relatively small YouTuber with, a good handful of subscribers, 17.5K last time I'm checking. And I'm watching WandaVision. I've been watching WandaVision, and I really do enjoy watching fan reactions of certain moments. We all just went, "Wait, what?" It's really nice how to see people react to things that then give opinions of stuff that you wouldn't normally think of. So I've been following this particular YouTuber, one because I recognized her from her other defense that she did about this character Wanda Maximoff, and how that video was, which definitely needs to be another video by itself. But I wanted to take a look at this video in particular because it was sort of a call to action for me. When watching this video about their episode 5 reaction, they say something along the lines of, it's kind of a bad narrative to have a woman in grief be the villain.
And also, just kind of a dangerous narrative, again, to portray a woman in grief as the villain, instead of just healthy emotions that she needs to work through. I mean, I know she has a town under her control, but I just hate when grieving women are turned into the villains. And it's like, oh, you can't feel grief, you can't feel anger, because then you are the villain. And it's like, no, feel your emotions, they're healthy. Just don't enslave a town.
And that just sounded tons of alarm bells for me, so I made a comment. And I said something. And I got a reply less than 15 minutes, and all was right with the world. Then I wake up and find that she did another response to a couple of comments that she saw on some of her videos. And then I went to check on my comment, and it doesn't exist anymore. No, seriously, you can go ahead. I have done the test. My comment will not show up anywhere. And I couldn't help myself. So I sat down, got a nice cup of water, and went by her video and took a listen to it. And it's not the best, but not the worst. But definitely not the best. Let's investigate, shall we? Just want to say again, please don't go ahead and harass this creator. Sure, we may not agree on probably everything, but it's still their opinion at the end of the day, and, still my opinion at the end of the day. Just don't go ahead and harass this creator. Thanks.
Look, I have already made a video defending Wanda as a character. It was actually the first video I ever uploaded on this channel, and I never once considered making a follow-up. Like, I said what I wanted to say, it was done, it was did. However, I have been seeing some incredibly aggressive comments pop up more and more frequently on the WandaVision vids, and I figured it was time to make a part 2. Yes, that's right, I am stepping out of the shadows, I am putting the suit back on, because apparently I have decided to die on the Defending Wanda Maximoff hill. That's fine, I have accepted this.
Let us see what everlasting knowledge you can present to us, Fictional Darling.
This comment in particular really sparked the idea to do another video, and if this was TikTok, I would just easily reply to you in like a very fast 60-second format just to give you your answer and move on, but this is not TikTok, it is YouTube. So here is a full-blown analysis part 2 defending Wanda Maximoff's character as she is seen and presented in the MCU. Also, I am not trying to pick on this guy's comment at all. I think it was a polite and genuine question, and I wanted to dive more into it. So, let's go.
I don't want to start a thing. Starts a thing.
Oh, and just as a general disclaimer, me drawing comparisons to the other Avengers and their actions is in no way me trying to hate On the other characters, I am just simply using their stories to prove that Wanda is not that different. And I feel like we can't do this without starting at the beginning, so let's talk about Wanda's origin story.
Basically, this part of the video catches you up on what happened to Wanda Maximoff, who she is, and how she is today in the MCU. Pretty straightforward, I think. She also says that people think that Wanda's vision that she gave to him at the beginning of Age of Ultron was sort of a way to brainwash people, well, him to creating Ultron, which is not true. You know, Bruce and Tony have had talks talking about making Ultron and doing this, and it's not Wanda's fault. So, I guess, she has that.
Particularly because they have been victims of Tony's weapons. Choosing to align themselves with Ultron at this point is an action designed purely to get revenge on Tony Stark, and also because they think killing the Avengers will help alleviate the war in their country. Up until this point, everything Wanda has done has been pretty understandable and at least in line with actions the other Avengers have also taken. And then she makes Bruce turn into Hulk, and he goes a little bit haywire there, and that is entirely on her. It is. No one is saying it isn't. The damage in Johannesburg is 100% on her. However, this is not the first time someone now regarded as a hero has done a lot of damage in their past. Natasha has a bloody backstory, even if we're only told about it and we don't actually see it. Tony's weapons have taken many lives. Thor literally starts a war the first time we're introduced to him. And Clint goes on a whole ass murdering spree in Endgame. A whole murdering spree. And the narrative, at least what we've seen thus far, completely forgives him for it.
Even though all the people he's killed are basically very, very bad people. But yeah, let's just cut that out since, it's not really good for my narrative.
Completely. They all have blood on their hands. So then moving on to Civil War, we see that she's been actively working as an Avenger. She is an Avenger in training. She has been working to try to make the world a better place, which is really all she wanted to do in the first place. That scene in Lagos with the bomb is not her fault. She may feel that those deaths are on her, but they are literally not her fault. The only person to blame for those deaths is Crossbones. He started that explosion, he killed those people. Steve, the person who is supposed to be, dealing with Crossbones, fails to stop him because Crossbones mentions Bucky. The only reason Wanda is even near that explosion in the first place and even touches it at all is because she is covering for Steve's ass.
Sort of a point that stuck out to me is that basically sort of the entire premise is that, women can, feel emotions, you can feel emotions, and they don't have to be called a villain for that. Well, here in this moment, in the moment that she is referencing, Captain America slipped up. Yeah, he did that, but it was again in a way that really makes him sort of Captain America. He heard Bucky and choked up, and he felt emotion there. He felt what better way to say it is grief. He felt grief. That's pretty much it. But you're not getting him called a villain for that. And is that what your point is? Question mark.
Steve slips up. Wanda covers for him because she doesn't want the people on the street to die. And if you're blaming Wanda for that and not Crossbones, the literal dude who started the explosion, you should probably re-examine your perception of that scene. Because while Wanda thinks it's her fault and the media tells us it's her fault, and yes, people did die, who knows how many more people would have died if that explosion had been allowed to go off on the streets. Those deaths are on no one else's hands but Crossbones. So yeah, she sides with Steve and Bucky in Civil War, because why wouldn't she side with the brainwashed victim of Hydra experimentation who's trying to stop other trained assassins from causing more harm in the world over the dude who literally killed her parents and created the robot that killed her brother? Like, that's not even a question whose side she'd be on. It's genuinely not a question.
What? That just... Okay, you sort of contradict yourself, and we're not even 10 minutes into this thing, so let's take a breather. So you're telling me that Tony Stark didn't mean to kill her parents. Well, he didn't want to kill her parents. But now you're telling me that he killed her parents and created the bot that killed her. What? You're really just contradicting yourself. Like, did you even, like, see this and go, hey, maybe I need to take that again? No? Alright.
Obviously, she's not the only one that sided with Steve. Sam sided with Steve, so did Scott, so did Clint. They all made the same choice as her. And narratively, whether you agree with their choices or not, they all face consequences for that choice. Wanda, in particular, is locked up in a straitjacket and an electric collar in the raft. When Steve breaks her out and rescues her, she is now a fugitive on the run, forced to stay under the radar and steal moments with the person that she loves instead of actually getting to live her life herself. So yeah, like the original comment I'm replying to said, sending Hulk out was on her. But narratively, since that moment, she has grown. She has made the choice to do the right thing each and every time she's been presented with that option. It's not about giving her some slack the other characters haven't gotten. It's about looking at her actions and her choices and realizing she isn't actually that different from the other Avengers. And now we aren't even touching on the fact that she came out of hiding, so she's basically revealing herself to the law to help stop Thanos like everyone else did. Which brings us up to date. And yes, maybe it is a bit early to be making this video considering the fact that WandaVision isn't done airing yet, but let's look at what we've got so far. And just for future reference, I'm filming this at a time when we've only seen up to episode 5, so that's all the information I've got. So Wanda was snapped, right? So 5 years off the bat gone. She did not live any of it, but they have passed. Now, Monica in episode 4 clearly states that she feels she was just asleep for 20 minutes. She doesn't think any time has passed since the snap happened, and she blipped back. So, in very recent Wanda memory, she has just lost Vision twice. Once by her hand, and once by Thanos. And now she finds out it's 5 years later. 5 years since Vision died. And in that 5 years, a government organization, which I can already guarantee you she does not trust, has got ownership of the body of the man that she loved and just lost. And on top of that, have changed their organization's focus from manned missions to space to literal study and observation of robots and sentient weapons. Sound familiar? Not only that, but Vision's body is in pieces when Wanda breaks in to steal it back. So chances are there are things happening behind the scenes, and Wanda either very clearly suspects—
And in a way that really makes me respect the show even more. You know, after all this time and after everything that has happened, when you hear Wanda say, well, I don't know how this started in the first place. I don't know, I'm not controlling everything, and I'm sorry, it's just, I don't trust Wanda in a way that's not making me upset, that I'm completely going for. And I think that's sort of on purpose, Jack's decision and everything, and I think it's really nice. So like when she says that, I'm just like, nah, bro, capping straight up. And it's sort of it's really great to, feel that way when, you've watched Wanda, through thick and thin and everything. It's just amazing way how the writers were able to, do that after 5 episodes. Because, like, if you're able to control the camera to make a drone show up and stuff, if you're able to try and roll the credits and make it so the show ends, and if you're able to do jump cuts to stuff so certain stuff wouldn't get on the broadcast, I am not gonna trust you when you say you're not controlling everything, because to some extent you are kind of doing that, and that's sort of how I feel about the entire thing.
Now, I'm not saying Clint needs to die, but I am saying if I'm seeing you guys comment that Wanda needs to die now for keeping these very much so alive people in a bubble against their own will, are you guys going to take this same energy over to Clint's show and comment it on all of Clint's videos? Because he went through a murder spree. He literally murdered people. Granted, they may have been bad people.
Not might. They were bad people.
But we don't know if they were all bad. We don't know what the heck the situation was. Clint went on an unregistered murder spree. So, you know, I'm just looking for the same energy there. Are you gonna bring it? I'm not saying you should. Please don't actually comment that Clint needs to die either. Anyways, regardless of my opinions on the town being taken over, because I am kind of withholding my judgment for the situation until we actually have all of the information at our disposal, I want to address one more thing. In my last WandaVision commentary video, I said that I didn't want to see Wanda fall prey into the grieving woman equals evil trope.
I'm sorry, what trope? I mean, I don't actually remember any of these shows and movies that I watched that woman sad equals villain. Like, I don't remember that, but sure, keep going.
I did not, in that statement, at all say I didn't want to see her grieve and work through her pain. Me saying that I don't want to see a character that I love who happens to be a woman in pain reduced to a cardboard cutout of a bad guy that we're all just supposed to hate just because is A, my opinion, but also B, just me genuinely hoping the narrative makes room for the nuance behind all of her actions and shows us everything that is happening in her mind, which is literally what I said in the video.
If Wanda did turn out to be the villain, I don't think we're gonna be hating her just because. I mean, Wanda, has done stuff in the past. And, if Wanda did in fact become the villain of the show, hypothetically, of course, we would have a reason to, feel some type of way about her. I mean, she's taken a town hostage. I mean, there's no real sugarcoating that. Hayward, sure he doesn't have sort of the right to call Wanda a terrorist, but he's definitely got a point about the whole town thing, and it's yeah, it's basically it, I guess. I mean, yeah.
But apparently my opinion has triggered quite a few people, so I would like to address a comment that I received quite a lot in various forms, which boils down to, well, Magneto, who you like, was a grieving man and he was a villain, and I really think these people thought they were making a point, so let's break it down. Let's just start this by saying I don't think the word villain actually applies to Eric.
Yes, villain doesn't apply to Eric. No, it's fine. The man who's killed countless of people who stood in his way or did not agree with him or anything. It's fine. That's just another Tuesday for Eric. He's not actually the villain.
The narrative always makes so much effort to showcase how much pain he's in and the reasons behind all of the choices that he makes. Something Wanda has not been afforded as of yet, by the way, considering the fact that Quicksilver literally died in Age of Ultron and we have yet to see any sort of grieving moment from her for him.
I guess that bit in episode 3 just didn't exist.
She has not received any sort of exploration or understanding of the pain and the grief that she has been in until this show. But anyways, back to Eric. He is a nuanced character. He is a literal Holocaust survivor whose whole thing is that humans suck and will kill everyone who's different from them. He is not wrong. And on top of that, every single movie he's been in has worked to show his side of things. He may have different methods than Charles, basically all of the time, but he is never the villain outright.
He's never the villain outright. He's never the villain outright. Never villain outright. Huh. I'm sorry, Nick. What were you lining?
Also, spoilers for the X-Men films from First Class on. Just in case you haven't seen them yet, I will be discussing them, and particularly their endings. So, just a warning. But I am also only talking about First Class on because Days of Future Past kind of rewrote the old ones anyways, so we're only bothering with First Class on, okay? The villain in First Class is Shaw. There is no way you are gonna convince me that the act of a Holocaust survivor killing a literal Nazi is at all the act of a villain.
No, it's not. Sort of the only thing that we've been agreeing on here, but you know what else? You know what makes a villain killing hundreds of people just because they think different from you? I think that's sort of what makes a villain, don't you think?
And then once Shaw's dead, the villain spot turns to the humans on the boats who are firing literal missiles at the mutants on the beach. Even if the missiles that Eric then caught in the air and turned around had hit those men and probably killed everyone on those boats, that's an act of self-defense. That is not necessarily even Eric being the villain. That is him protecting himself and all of the mutants on the beach.
Man trying to protect the people he cares about kills hundreds of people instead.
So we move into Days of Future Past, where Eric is yet again not the villain. The villain is Trax, who is a human who is trying to kill all the mutants. Charles even says that Eric is right about his whole mentality. Does Eric technically make decisions in this film that are questionable? Yes, of course, that's like Eric's MO. But everything that he does can be read as the actions of a man who's just trying to do his best to protect the people that he cares about. And the interesting thing about X-Men Apocalypse is that we see that Eric has been able to settle down, live a life, married, working with a daughter for 10 years. In fact, he purposefully tries to calm the situation down without violence when the humans first come for him. Like, hello, character development. Like, we're proud of you, Eric. We're proud of you. And then the humans just kill his wife and daughter in front of him. Yep.
Now, that whole entire scene in X-Men Apocalypse was really whack, to be honest. Like, come on, man. Basically, let me run down the film. That scene, basically, they go into the woods. Everyone's there. Magneto's wife and daughter. They come over and they're saying, "Yo, Magneto, yeah, you're gonna come with us." And so, the daughter starts making a lot of birds appear because apparently she was a mutant and could talk to animals, apparently. So then the birds go ahead and they're swarming everything, and then a guard, sorry, one of the officers uses the bow and arrow that they had and shoots the daughter and the wife because they were hugging, like they were together, and then Magneto kills them all with the locket. Um, yeah, that was a fucking movie. Jesus.
So he tried to live a normal life like Charles always told him he could. For 10 years, he was doing it successfully until humans ruined that too. So when Apocalypse comes to him and brings him to the concentration camp and shows him that his powers are stronger than he knew, yeah, he's gonna go along with that. He's in pain, but he's not technically the villain. Apocalypse is the villain. Eric even does the equivalent of what Wanda does in Age of Ultron, which is say, oh fuck, I'm on the wrong side. Let me switch to the side of the people doing good real fast and actually help them out. Y'all, I wouldn't call him the villain. And let's just take this a step further, because you wanted to use Eric as a aha, I gotcha moment. You don't want actually decent, well-rounded characters. You think women should just be like bland, good girl characters.
You know what I also got from that is that men are the only people allowed to do that, not the women, because that happens. Cheers.
Well, let me just tell you something. Eric is sitting on land given to him by the US government, so he can live his life peacefully away from the people that cause him pain.
And so, how does he repay the US government? By going to the streets of New York and making a big mess and getting almost everybody there arrested and basically messing up the mutants' reputation once more. God, I hate these fucking movies.
They literally narratively compromise with him. Now, wouldn't it be great if the government could give Wanda a little plot of land so she could just live her life with her reanimated corpse of a dead husband for the rest of her days and be happy as best as she can? Wouldn't that be great? I'm waiting. We'll see.
Did you hear yourself, right? I mean, I don't. That doesn't really sound that great, to be honest. And besides the fact that the Sokovia Accords are still in effect, and she couldn't really do that since she's a fugitive. But it looks like we all chose to forget that, right?
And on top of that, Eric gets his happy ending. By the end of Dark Phoenix, he is happily retired, living with Charles, getting to play chess till the end of his days. He gets his happy ending. Let's not pretend Wanda's gonna get any of that. Her family is dead, her lover is dead, and the happy ending she would have wanted is already shot. It's gone. So don't come at me using Eric as a gotcha moment when he has done at least as questionable, if not more questionable things than Wanda has done narratively, and still made it out on the other side with land from the US government and a happy, peaceful ending.
Don't you just love writing scenes that just never existed in the movie or anything? I mean, we don't really get any confirmation to what Magneto has been doing, and I'm just more confused because we do know that Charles is retired. That's literally the only thing that we know. But what happens to Magneto and everyone else? It's just a big mystery that we're probably never gonna learn since Disney and Marvel aren't really too keen about continuing the X-Men franchise. But just keep on writing scenes, sweetie. Just keep going.
So yeah, when I'm saying that I don't want Wanda to be the villain, I'm not saying I don't want her grief to be explored, whatever that constitutes, whether she's doing questionable things because of her pain or whatever. I am just saying that I don't want this to become a black and white, she's wrong and therefore bad issue. I want the narrative to allow her the same respect and grace that it has given other characters who have done equally, if not more so, questionable things. Which, to be fair, WandaVision does seem to be doing, at least thus far. It has been handling her story with as much nuance as her tragic life requires, thanks mostly to Monica, Jimmy, and Darcy, and not at all to Hayward, but that's fine. I'm hopeful that it's going to continue to do so. And I do really like the idea that because Monica is also grieving, the show is going to be giving us two different portrayals of women in pain who are trying to work through their grief in healthy/unhealthy, although I don't know if Monica's is necessarily healthy because I think she's just ignoring it at this point. But basically, having two women grieving instead of just the one will hopefully at least help them not fall into any tropes present. So, I mean, that's good at least.
What the fuck even was that sentence? Okay, yeah, sure. Or Monica has, had some trouble because she got snapped. She loses her mother, and she blips back, knowing that her mom died. And so, yes, that is sad. And, and she should do that. But yeah, I mean, I guess that should happen. But like, you didn't wasn't really that worded that great. If you get my drift.
I am mainly personally hoping that Wanda just survives at this point and she hopefully gets to become the strong ally that we know she can be, although okay, maybe that's unrealistic. I don't know, but I can hope for it, you know? And again, that's just my opinion. Obviously, it's totally fine if you have a different one. Like, that's fine. But if you genuinely think she is irredeemable and needs to die, maybe keep that to yourself, or at least not in my comment section.
I don't know what I'm fucking doing anymore. You could have just ended the video right there. I guess, just full rant, please. Thank you. 19-minute video, cha-ching, poggers. It's just, you could have just ended the video right there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Jesus. So that's basically the end of the video, I guess. I mean, what more do you want me to say? It's just not a good video, and honestly, he could have really been handled in just 2 or 3 sentences. But wait, that's not all. Let us at least take a lovely dive into her comment section for this video. This person says, people have short memories, man. First of all, she was a citizen of another country and the victim of Stark's greed before he is redeemed. She volunteered to protect her country like Captain America which Cap pointed out himself. Hydra infiltrated her country just like it did S.H.I.E.L.D. She has trouble controlling her sanity because of the extent of her power, like the Hulk. And in the WandaVision series, she clearly is only partially in control. This is the calm and I don't want to leave my dream world story within the mystery that Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, and numerous others have gone through. And let's talk about the villains that are redeemed, like Loki, and are treated with more nuance than Wanda is by the random bros in the comments. Oh dear. Another person writes, people straight up argue that Thanos was right and praise him for being a complex villain. Wanda in the series has 10 times the relatability and complexity. Honestly. Uh, is what she's doing terrible? If she's behind what's happening to this town, then objectively, yes, it is It is villainous. The terror of the people under control makes that obvious, but that's not certain. And even if it's the case, so many villains are just not held accountable slash redeemed by one big gesture in this universe. Why hold Wanda to a different standard? Fuck's sake. I don't really get people wanting Wanda to go full on villain. That would just fall into the unstable powered woman trope. Treevee tropes link. Okay. Where if a woman gets strong superpowers, she will inevitably go crazy. Because women are just too emotional and delicate to handle so much power, after which the other often male heroes have to clean up. I can't fucking do this. Girl, you speak facts. Wanda is given shit for no reason when she has been through the most out of everyone on the Avengers team and still even helped the man who killed her mom and dad even after her brother died. She became a Avenger to make up for the bad she did. She is a good character and I don't think she is making the hex. I feel there is more to it because in the last episode Wanda says she doesn't even or remember how the hex even started. So I feel someone is using her as a power source to make the hex and fuck's sake, believe her that Norm is referring to is Agnes or someone else. I love you, girl. Keep up the bids. You are a queen. So this person has just never heard of periods before or actual arguments. Fuck. Ideals of villains make more sense than the self-absorbed ideals of the heroes. Maybe they were trying to use the Ultimate Marvel used version of Mags as a gotcha point. I don't know. People are weird as shit. A lot of the ones coming at you are the ones who think pain and self-defense isn't a valid point or tool for a character to use. And I think we should probably just end there. Anyway, thank you for watching. This is definitely a drastically different thing that you don't normally do on my channel, but I want to sort of jump the gun and try something that I've never really done before, and something that I was definitely thinking about a lot. I'm definitely planning to do something quite special the coming days, weeks. So look out for that. Yeah, that's basically it. Anyway, I think I shall be going now. Doodles.